So today we're going to be looking at the Canada incident from the last couple of days over in Paris. Now, it has been a crazy 4 or 5 days since the news first broke that Canada were spying on the New Zealand team ahead of the two teams meeting on Thursday at the opening game of the Paris Olympics via a drone. So that was reported later on Wednesday before the game. It then emerged that who the people were that had done the drone flying, and the Canadian Olympic Committee then put out a statement saying they were going to look at the incident, and the people involved, Jasmine Manda and Joseph Lombardi, it turned out to be were the people involved in the drone spying, and they then were sent home. It then emerged later on that that wasn't the first incident that week. They had been spying them earlier as well, a few days ago. So that led to more annoyance and anger from the New Zealand team as to how long they'd been doing it and as to why they were doing it. As that was going on, head coach Bev Priestman said whilst anything was going on, she would step away from managing the Canadian side in their first match against New Zealand for integrity of the sport and making herself not give Canada some sort of advantage. The game is then played, which Canada end up winning by 2-1 despite being a goal behind. So it then emerged that FIFA were opening legal proceedings and looking into the situation, and it was going to be a bit of time, we would think, before we'd have any word. However, it was then confirmed on Saturday that head coach Bev Priestman has been sent home. She's now been suspended by FIFA for 1 year, as well as Jasmine Manda and Joseph Lombardi for those two that were involved in the drone incident. And Canada have been deducted 6 points, so they've lost 3 that they gained from their win against New Zealand, and then another 3 on top of that, and that assistant coach Andy Spence will take charge of the rest of the games like he did in the first game. So it is a very bad situation on the Canadian side. It has been emerging as well through reports via TSN and other Canadian reports that it's not just the women's team that have been doing it, it's the men's team, and this isn't the first time that they've been doing it. It's been happening for a number of years now, and it's very, very concerning that they have been doing this, and that we're into a situation where spying is what they have let themselves down to try and get the upper hand on their opponents. Obviously we don't know what this does now for the players. A lot of people have been, the players themselves at previous tournaments, obviously the main player for Canada being Christine Sinclair over the years, saying she's never used any of this drone footage was shown to us or helped us prepare for our opponents. Stephanie Labb, who's been a goalkeeper for Canada over the years as well, said when it came to the last set of Olympics, she did her own research of watching penalty takers in matches and studied that rather than again being shown any drone footage from potential training camps of players stepping up, taking penalties in practice sessions. So there is a lot of grey cloud over the Canadian football, not just the women's side, but obviously the men's side as well. And it's got to raise the question of integrity of Canada and how they go about this for the next few years and how they go about cleaning this act. Is there any further repercussions from them? Could they potentially get their medals taken away from them that they've won in previous Olympics? How long has this drone scandal been going on for? From what it seems like, just on base value, it looks like it could be going on for about 4, potentially 5 years. So any meaning results from that, both the women's side and the men's side, it is obviously going to be a lot to put into question how we go from here and what happens now with Bev Priestman. She has been suspended for a year, but she had signed a contract extension to remain as the Canadian head coach until 2027 after that World Cup that is going to be taking place in Brazil. So what I would imagine there is the Canadian national team remove her as head coach, they get someone else in and then try and wipe a clean slate over everything that has gone on over the past few years. But it's just a real shame to see that the players having to go through this. Obviously, they just want to be focusing on retaining their gold medal in Paris. They did so well in the 2021 Olympics over in Tokyo. Obviously, it got cancelled and then delayed the year. And now everything you're going to be hearing over the next couple of weeks, player-wise, is just going to be having to talk about this situation. What did they know? What can they say legally and not get into trouble for? It is just not something you would expect on the eve of the first set of games. That coming out, it just completely rocked the world of women's football. And then ever since then, the more news that has been coming out has just been very controversial and very worrying for the Canadian side as to how long has this been going on, and why they felt like this was the only way they could beat their opponents in certain matches. It's obviously just the beginning, you would imagine, but it's something that you hope that they can eradicate from the game, because it's not fair and just on ways of beating your opponents by spying on them. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the whole situation and where you think Canada can go from here. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, WF Talks on Twitter and Women's Football Talk, all one word, on Instagram. And follow our website page, womensfootballtalk.substack.com, where we looked into this at full, and obviously all the other stuff happening around the world of women's football. In the meantime, we'll see you soon.